The growth of small businesses is critical to the development of economies. The Caladium Lagos SME Bootcamp, one of the largest gatherings of entrepreneurs in Nigeria, held its sixth edition at the EcoBank Pan African Center in Lagos. In their opening remarks, the co-founders, Mr. Bankole Akintujoye and Mr. Oluwaseun Durojaiye, shared the event, its essence, and why it was designed to build the capacity of small businesses across finance, resource management, branding, and strategy.
So my dad died in 2003. I was 17 years old. And my mother had just retired a year before, or thereabout. I can't, a year or two before. And when my dad retired, my mom retired, she invested all our gratuity. She put into my dad's business. My dad died with everything. When I say die with them, some people will die, they will leave the thing behind. Some people will die, everything will die with them. You don't speak from experience. Have you died before? So I said I needed to help small businesses with these skills. How can they learn accounting? How can they learn branding? How can they learn how to manage people? How can they learn how to build networks and all those kind of things? So I said I was going to be a strategy expert. In fact, I didn't know that I wanted to do strategy until I entered school and I joined this company, an organization called ISEC. And at a conference, student conference that we went to, we did a planning session, national planning conference, using balance scorecard. And I said, I'm interested in this. And that's how I said I was going. But when I didn't join consulting, of course, you can't expect someone like FOP, his company, to come and be doing consulting with people like us. I mean, how much do we make in the first place? So I realized that, I have another guy here, Durojaiye. We worked together in PwC. So all my career, I then worked in, SAP, KPMG, PwC, Phillips Consulting. So it was the big boys that we kept doing work for. So I was not, that hunger to help those small businesses was still there. So I thought that, what can we do? So I said, okay, let me set up a boot camp where these same services on a continuous basis. So we started off to say, let's even do it first as a boot camp where we train people on how these basic things. How do you manage your finance? How do you manage your tax? How do you engage with tax regulators? How do you build your brand? How do you do marketing? How do you manage your operations? So that was how we started it, right? And from there, we then built a community, right? So that we do it on a continuous basis. So I do personal development sessions. So the guys who can pay us will pay us to do strategy sessions. But the ones who cannot, I will schedule them usually around 7 a.m. every day to do, for example, this new year now, some of our community members will do goal setting, all those kind of things, We would also we map some to mentors. And I'm happy that on this stage, we've had Dr. Obiezekwe last year, we've had partners from KPMG, we've had partners from Philips, we've had global brand people. We've had all sorts of people, over 30 or 40 facilitators over the years. And more importantly, our community members have done amazingly well. There is almost no pitch that happens in Lagos these days that our community members are not winning. And, it makes me so proud that what started in that time as a very small event, very small idea, has then flourished today.
So in 2018, I've been supporting some small businesses online on my own privately, buy them website, help them build it out, do some marketing for them and all that. He was doing something. And then we got on a call in June and he was like, yeah, he has an idea. Like, what's the idea? So we ran it. And that was how we did it, the Caladium Lagos SME Bootcamp. Luckily for us, we've had Ibadan. We are looking forward to going back to Ibadan soon and some other states to see how we can spread this and not make it just only in Lagos. So I just want to say that we have wonderful speakers today, and we hope all of you who are attending will be able to, take one or two things away from them. And you might think like some of these things they're saying it's irrelevant, but there's always a key point to every little thing that is said. Like you might think, oh, I'm not getting sales, so how are you getting sales? how can I get more sales, right? You have someone who's going to talk about that. You might think about, okay, how do I make my business legal? I would say a lot of people make your business legal. That gives you, the audacity to be able to tell someone, like, this is the name of my business, and I'm legal, so you can look me up everywhere, anywhere online. You can look me up on CAC, so that way you know that you can transact business. Because for me, I do patronize a lot of people online, even though I might not need that, just to support small businesses, and if you're not legal, it always gives me kind of, fear of, do I trust this person? So, like I said, I want you all to enjoy yourselves. I want you all to listen, and I'm very sure that you will have a wonderful time.
The keynote speaker and chairman of Phillips Consulting, Mr. Folusho Phillips, inspired entrepreneurs on ways to build a reputable, long-standing brand in Nigeria.
Then finally, another interesting point that was raised, I think this was at the recent breakfast session that Phillips had, where we talk about tourism. And somebody came up on stage, and he came to explain. He said, I don't know whether it was about 2 years or so ago, let me just say in 2021, they discovered that 40 million Nigerians were going to be celebrating their 18th birthday. In 1 year, 40 million were celebrating their 18th birthday. So we are saying that we have 40 million people who have a certain type of mindset, who are going to be leading they're going to be your market. They're the ones that are in the world that you're all operating now. They're the ones that are going to really be your market, the people you serve, that you draw skills from, that you provide services to. So you guys got to plug in. 30 years ago, we plugged into the financial services industry, went through it. We're saying today, you guys are going to plug into the digital world, but specifically artificial intelligence and all the other things that follow. Those are the things that you got to connect with. And it is not you're doing artificial intelligence itself, as an example. It's what you do around it. It's the ecosystem, the value chain. If you look at the value chain, one person is doing one thing or another. Where can I plug into my little bit and do my little bit of work and do my own little participation and contribution in order to sort of make it? So once again, I think that where we can have a chat about this afterwards. But the story is this. The world is changing. You better be part of it. You better drive it. And it's about people, about caring about people, paying attention. Competence you will get. Competence we have. We're brilliant in Nigeria. But let's let the character that we have begin to define the quality of the service we provide. Okay? Thank you very much. Thanks for listening.
The bootcamp featured 2 panel sessions on business growth conversations, business development, social media, and driving effective market operations, an executive dialogue on harnessing relationships, efficient relationships, and effective financial management, and a session on the upsides and challenges of building a non-tech business in Nigeria.
If you look at all the companies that have been successful in Nigeria, there's one thing they figured out, and that is distribution. When I sit with technology guys, they build amazing products and they think the product would sell itself. But in actual truth, everybody who has captured the market has figured out distribution. They can work on the product later. So I will give an example. How many of us used OPay when OPay started? What was the experience on the app? Terrible. The app will crash. But what were they fixing? Distribution. They were getting the app into everybody's hands through the bike hailing and the freebies and whatnot. And over time, they started refining the product. But what they figured out was distribution.
Oh God, I was on the FinTech 2023 event. Oh God, I was here, I was there. And then they put it on LinkedIn. That's what is raining now,
Yes,
right?
sir.
They cross
They
their
do
leg,
not
they
write
wear that
one
black,
long caption.
they wear the black t-shirt and then they write they write their caption. The question is, what did you gain at this event? Is somebody hearing me this morning? I was at an event in Accra. I was invited as a guest. And The event was hosted by a finance company. There was a breakout session for networking. What will kill us in this life is assumptions, social media assumptions. At that event, your biggest, richest men and bank owners were there. The Lumelus, the Dangotes, the this and the that. And guess what? Everybody was hustling everybody to talk to them. People were trying to get the next gig. There was no arrogance, no attitude at the networking floor. You don't leave a networking event and they ask you, so what did you gain today? Well, I learned from Mr. Wale that we should make friends. How many business cards did you collect? How many phone numbers did you collect? How many phone numbers did you give out? Did you follow up with these people? Did you follow up with these people? A week after you attend events like this, you should be calling people, you should be sending emails. Dear Mr. Wale, I was at your event at the SME Mall. This is me introducing myself. This is what I do. I buy and sell human hair.
Highlight of the event was the Lifetime Achiever Award presentation to Mr. Folusho Phillips and a business speech with OJ Technologies emerging as the winner.
Give it up for the first runner-up with a margin of 67.4%, OJ Tech.
Mr. Bankole Akintujoye, Mr. Oluwaseun Durojaiye, and one of the stakeholders speak further on the event and the plans for the Caladium Lagos SME Bootcamp initiative.
Bringing him was a master stroke for us because, he was practical. Everybody relates with success story that Phillips Consulting is. As a brand that was built locally and then became internationally recognized, both as an individual, Mr. Phillips himself, and the brand, and him sharing that personal experience and explaining to people how practically they can build their brands to become formidable and credible institutions, was a massive. You saw the response, that people had, and I feel very fulfilled that I brought him here.
Yeah, so for me, you can compare online, to offline in anything you're doing, even in business, even in the business climate, right? And then attending for the first time physically, it gave me so much experience, it gave me so much joy, to be able to see some of these over 6,000, almost 6,000 SMEs we'll be supporting. So, most of them were here, right? And then looking at them and, having conversations with them, patronizing their small businesses, was a thing of joy for me. And I really want to say a big thank you to Ayo, my co-founder. Also, he was being in charge for us, while I was away, even though I always joined physically, virtually, but yeah. So it was been a very good one.
But, this is the best time for cost control and cost engineering by SMEs. A lot of times, I think one of the biggest risks in terms of cost of SMEs is that they are unable to separate personal and business expenses. So if you are not very careful, your expenses may just spiral out of control because the personal element will enter into it. So even if you are not mixing both, costs are already bad enough in terms of inflation. So it's very important that even for your business line, you are looking at essential and non-essential costs. And this is the time to just eliminate non-essential costs, right? And whatever redundancies that you have that is making you increase cost or making you waste items, it's better to just quickly eliminate those things. But more importantly, strict separation of personal and business costs so that your already over-bloated cost does not get colored again by your personal expenses.
Yeah, so there are a couple of things because being someone who lives in the US, right, we can't compare the business climate over there with the business climate in Nigeria, right? But one of the things, I think one of the policies that I hope the Nigerian government can emulate or can take and adopt from the United States is that there's always an incentive for small business owners, 3 years tax break. I don't know how that works here. And to register a business, if I want to register a business name, it's so cheap as about $25 to get a business name registered, right? And then to get an LLC is about $300. So if I want to put that in quantification, I noticed that we know that CSC charges a lot. I think it's about $100,000 now to register a business name. So, which is trainers for this, some of this, because some of them, they actually, when they start, they actually don't make so much sales and they want to be legal. They want to open bank account, to be able to transact. So if government can look into that, create a tax incentive for small business owners and reduce the cost of registration, that will encourage more people to come. And the 3 years tax incentive that we have back in the United States, compared to here, is that you are allowed to even declare losses because they know you declare losses. So I don't expect, the Dallas County commissioner to come to my business for tax in my first year, unlike here in Lagos, especially, whereby the tax man is always knocking at your door, even though you just opened business. So if government can look into that, that'll be really great.
Talking from my own business, we're in the business of out-of-home advertising, and I'll tell you one of the major challenges we have is, number one, the multiple taxation. So at different levels of government, everybody's trying to earn some revenue. They tell you it's a revenue drive by the government, but everybody comes up with all sorts of taxes to charge you. And that is already putting a lot of pressure on us. Also in my business, running an out-of-home advertising billboard that's digital, you get to run so much expense on electricity, buying diesel now, prices continue to fluctuate. You're over 1,000 naira per liter today. It affects your top line. Revenues have to increase for your OPEX to drop. All of those are major challenges that we're going through, and we hope if electricity is good and you have that easy connection and it's guaranteed, even your clients will be satisfied. But when you have those challenges, you then have to raise the bar, increase your rate cards. Everybody steps away from you, trying to look for easier ways to reach their clients, so the challenges are enormous. It won't stop, it won't end in one day, but I think it's a step in the right direction that the government are coming up with different policies, initiatives, trying to resolve all of these issues. But we hope, I wouldn't say we pray, because I believe it is what you put in that you get in return. So if we continue to pray, prayer is just one thing, but we hope that these policies that are being put in place, the new appointments that are being done, they come to become positive results.
Yeah, so we're looking at expanding our partnership horizon. We're talking to a lot more people. I mean, impressive that a lot of people are talking to us now. We are not even the ones talking to people. In those days, we used to call people, we'd be like, what's that? The brand has really grown. So what we're looking to do is to launch a fellowship program, and then an academy, such that we take this beyond just a day, and then the community into people coming in actually for about 3 weeks, 6 weeks for an academy, and they graduate as well-rounded entrepreneurs. So that's what the vision is, and we're hoping that in the next few months or years, we're able to make it happen.
With 6 editions of the Caladium Lagos SME Bootcamp successfully hosted and over 40 experts engaged as facilitators, the initiative is gaining momentum in addressing the challenges of sustainability and efficiency of small businesses in Nigeria. With the plans of a business school in the future, Nigeria's economy is poised for remarkable transformation with dynamic, process-driven, and innovative small businesses.